Alrighty. Good evening, Speed Gaming 2, and good evening to Zelda fans and Super Metroid fans right now. Because we today, or tonight, depending on where you're at, will be in fact playing a combo randomizer of Super Metroid and The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So today we have quite a few entrants that are coming in for this one. I believe there are a record-breaking number of 33 people into this SMZ3 tournament. And on stream, we have Error72 and Azure, who looks like they're about to be starting right now, fresh at the ship. So, best of luck to all these runners, and specifically to the two runners that are on here. Before I forget, feel free, and by all means, please follow them on their own follow them at their streams and follow them and see how they're doing and ask them how they were doing because these two are fantastic runners right now that are going to be giving us quite the show for the next couple of hours. So just doing a typical start. Looks like that neither player wanted to go into the neither player wanted to go check vanilla morph ball from the looks of it. So it looks like that they're going to be doing the typical just warp out or zone out into this portal over here and then check Lake Kylie Island. It looks like they started right back onto Link's house itself, and now they're going to be checking escape. So just some super missiles, just some quality of life right there. It's always nice to get some early supers, and hopefully they'll be stacking up the supers for the most part. And Error taking their time, just waiting to get a little bit of love. Looks like they're trying to stack up. Ooh, that is a nice bomb. That is a nice bomb to get right there. But it looks like trying to stack up and maybe get something for the tree pool. All right, going to Sanctuary right now, and looks like they're going to be doing their CAC route, and both having one bomb. Always very nice to start out and just have a bomb. Ideally, you want at least 3 bombs when you're going to be heading towards CAC to be able to get the checks. But one bomb is better than nothing, and if anything, it couldn't allow them just access and open up that bottom left hand entrance to be able to get some and farm some free bombs right there. All right, getting our tier 1 pull on Azur's side. It looks like there's just 8 bombs. It's random bombs. It looks like we don't even need to worry about bombs this seed. Bombs, arrows. Trees got bombs. Crabs got arrows. Looks like they will be set right now. And Lumberjack, just a little bit of love right now. So no need to do Aga today for the prize. Okay, they're looking for lamp oil and rope. Don't worry. Oh, P-Toil's already got you on that one. Never mind. All right, we're just doing our typical early game checks right now, looping around Lost Woods. Let's see what we get down in the Thieves' Hideout, and just some love for the players. The Thieves are just absolutely ecstatic that everyone is running right now, so we're going to give them a little love and send them on their way. So right now, the runners are really just looking for some progression, any kind of progression at all, and I know a lot of people are always looking for Morph Ball, and that is one of the biggest things to look for, and I think a Morph Ball is great to get early on. However, I feel like personally myself, I don't like to see Morph Ball in the first 15 minutes or so because I feel like it opens up a seed very wide, especially if you get, Morph Ball into Dark World access early, so although that could be very player dependent. I know some players who like to clear out ALTTP first, and I know others that like to clear out Super Metroid first. So let's see where they end up going, where they'd like to go. And we are just rolling in the dough right now in CAC. Blind's Hut just leaving us with fat stacks because we are almost sitting at Zora money right here. Yeah, Kakariko quite literally loaded with cash right now and just oodling it to our players. It looks like that they will have no issues going to Bottle Vendor, and even if they get early Dark World access and they end up getting into Dark Cack somehow, they will have no issues with that. They're just looking for a little bit of extra for Zora. And there we go on Error's side in Cackwell, we're getting our first power bombs right now. Power bombs is always really nice to get early, and Bottle Vendor just giving you a reverse discount. All right, and we're getting our first safety right in the chicken coop. And now Charizard goes blue in this case. Hopefully we'll get a shiny Charizard with red mail if our runners find red mail today. And speaking of red, we get the mushroom. So we like our fetch quest and we like them early. So getting a mushroom too early on isn't the worst thing, to be quite honest. It'd be nice if we had something to be able to get there quickly, but we work with what we got. And Moon Pearl is on the bookshelf right now. So, ladies and gents, it looks like we need boots to get Dark World access. So, here's the big question. Are you feeling like we're going to get boots early today? Or are you feeling like it's going to be a late boots? It's only evil if boots are late. All right, Boots on Shack Tool is absolutely horrific, and I've already commentated 2 cursed seeds. Let me not get the hat trick on this one, for the runner's sakes. And we finally get our first round of divergence as they're heading all the way up to Sahashala right now to see what the old man has in the back right now. Meanwhile, Error heading over towards the dam and doing our south checks. As they're pulling out with the magic powder, always nice to see, always nice to have another safety, and it gives us another check, so long as we have the hammer, that is. And Azure being a brave soul and doing that early dip Eastern, I like it, I love it, I can't wait to see if it pays off or not. Meanwhile, Error on the other side just picking up on some more supers right at the dam. So we got no weapons, but we have 12 bombs and 4 Moldorms. Let's see who wins. Alright, and on Error's side, looks like we're just getting some... Hey, we finally got our first sword at let's see, 8 minutes in, and first shields. We got a toy sword, and we got our Fisher Price shield, 8 minutes in. Not too bad. Finally giving our tracker something to do. And so far, our first item just pulled in Eastern right now, so we have just a little bit of love and big key early, so that allows us to see what we have in the big chest on the way. Now, the dream right here is to get 2 items right now in Eastern before we even have to do the dark room. So we know that there's just a map or compass on Armos and on the vanilla big key chest. But let's see how nice the seed is to Asder and to all of our other runners today. Ooh, and simultaneous screw attack on Asder's side in Eastern Palace, and charge beam on Ice Beam, or on an Ice Rod Cave. I do love to see me some early charge, so no one's gonna be soft locking in bosses today. And as they're picking up the map in the big chest right now, meaning that he's gonna have to go through this dark room right here. So technically, from this point on, Eastern is out of logic. However, these dark rooms especially early dark rooms, but I'll say any dark room for the most part is a breeze to runners at such as these calibers. So let's see what they find afterwards. It's just something that they might have to keep in mind that this is technically lamp lock. Chat bringing up a good point right now. With screw attack, it does allow quite a bit of small amounts of access in Super Metroid. So even though they don't have morph ball or speed, they now are able to break through certain blocks that normally you would use a bomb or something along those lines for. So that is something to point out. It does give them a few disgusting checks to take care of. And Error making his way into Eastern Palace right now, going to get his screw attack. And I think something to note, all 3 items were found in Eastern, so I believe it's just a compass that's going to be found in Arma, so they don't have to take care of Eastern, if at all. I did not... Oh, actually, it's a crystal, so they will have to take care of it at one point or another. They just don't have to do it right now. And as they're doing some very nice bomb strats at the first blue guard in Hyrule Castle. So he looks like he's going to be saving the princess right now. And get himself 2 more checks. And some more lovely bomb straps over on Azur's side right now. Picking up the key, making his way down to the cell. So now that we have some of these checks out of the way, and we haven't really found too much progression, and unfortunately just the map in the cellar basement, but I'm almost wondering right now, when will these runners think that maybe going to SM would be a good idea or not? I mean, they can technically get the first item in Gauntlet. They can break through the screw attack blocks in criteria, and they can and make their way down to Green Brinstar and do a few checks in Green Brinstar while leaving a lot on the behind. They can go as far as Big Pink up until that Super Missile door where you need Morph Ball to go through. They still have their check on Morph Ball pedestal and Morph Ball and the ceiling in Blue Brinstar. Oh, and they do have Old Mother Brain. And chat correcting me right now. Gauntlet is technically not in Logic, even with Screw Attack. That is my bad. I thought Gauntlet was in Logic as soon as they got Screw Attack. Just not the back of Gauntlet, I thought. But it looks like they're just playing leapfrog right now and trading places. Now it looks like that Azur's going to be doing his South Shore checks, while Error is working on their Hyrule Castle checks. Chat is in fact teaching me that I'm making a lot of things much harder than it needs to be whenever I do my runs, by correcting me with logic, and I appreciate that. So while we're watching them cover each other's tracks right now, chat, I want to know, how are you doing today? I want to know what is your item that you would love to see them struggle to find. I want to know what you want to see as their go mode item, or maybe their item that is just bottlenecking them. And right now we're getting Boots, Hookshot, and Gravity. That is, Boots would just be absolutely mean. Hookshot would be one heck of a go mode item to get into during these types of runs. And everyone, and it looks like we have someone in chat hoping for the Ice Rod hunt for T Rock. I don't know if Morph Ball Go mode would be a terribly long seed or a horribly like jet seed. If you think about it, I feel like it can go either way. All right, and now we're gonna see Error making their way into SM, being the first one on stream to head into SM. Meanwhile, as they're about to pick up his charge beam. So with that screw attack, we can see quite a few checks right now. And even though Gauntlet is not in logic, I'm almost wondering if someone might try to get it out of the way. Big Bot, I would put that on your bingo card. That sounds like a very juicy progression. All right, and looks like we have Error making their way down criteria and making their way towards Green Brinstar. Meanwhile, Azure is going to be taking on some dark rooms right now, going towards the back of escape, or making their escape. So we're going to be seeing Dark Cross, and if Dark Cross is a key, then we'll be getting 3 items in the back of escape. Ooh, and Error skipping that first room in Green Brinstar right now. I don't know how I feel about that. I know that you can only get the... Oh, never mind. Not in logic. Never mind. That is not in logic because you can't... There is no speed. And it looks like we're just getting a trash tank up in Pink Brin right over here. And we get Plasma Beam. Plasma Beam is nice, but it's not quite what we need. So it's good to know that Plasma Beam is sitting there right in Big Pink, right in Missiles, above Vanilla Charge. But we're gonna see the save and quit, and we'll see which direction Error takes it next. And back of escape, not really giving us much either. Just some missiles, a ham, and another mystery item that I happen to miss. But Error making their way down to Retro Brinstar. So we'll see what Morph Ball Pedestal is holding. Although we will see that old Mother Brain check first. Chat is correct in that. And is this the magic spot? This is Boots. So we have an early Boots seed right now. Boots also opening up several other checks as well as getting us the next piece to the puzzle, but not quite the progression that we need. So if you had Boots and Go mode on your bingo card today, I'm sorry, but you're not filling that one out. As they're getting his boots. And it looks like, how trolly, we're getting Spring Ball on the Morph Ball pedestal. That would be very, very nice to have early game if you had a certain something to go with it, I think. Oh, and as they're making their way back up the elevator by accident. And just the other green rupees. We found both we found both Greg and his twin by 1930. That is absolutely incredible. And the elevator high five right now. So if I was Error right now, I think that I might be heading back through the warp gate, picking up my moon pearl just to get it out of the way, and then checking bonk rocks. I think that might be the next play, because there's not terribly much more that they can do over here. So bonk rocks might, or any other boots locked area, might hold some form of progression right now. Although these runners are lightning years past me, so this is quite literally just a sit and wait and watch and see what they're going to do. Because I trust them a heck of a lot more than I trust myself. Chat bringing up a good point. They still had the mushroom that they have not turned in, and nobody did pay Agina a visit yet. So that right there, we could get Dark World access, opening up the world wide open, and then making it a late Morph Ball seed. And we're getting gloves right now, so it looks like that we might be getting Dark World access here, ladies and gents. Alright, Air about to make their way into the back of Escape to realize that there's just a whole lot of nutting right back there. Just two hams guarding a set of missiles in the middle. So as they're looking to sequence break his way up to Death Mountain to see if Old Man may be carrying something. And also getting himself a very nifty save and quit spot along with a Norfair entrance in the Death Mountain. So a lot of high value from doing this sequence break. Question is, will it pay off? And Error making their way to Agina first to say hello to the man who tells us about the Jazz Hands enemies that lives in the sand. Beautiful dark room by Azure. Let's see what this holds, and just some missiles. Along with Agina just holding some missiles as well. So it looks like their progression is not where they're at this exact moment. Always gonna get a little info right now to see what's on Croc Escape, but looks like it's just a 5-bomb pack on Azure's side. So likely gonna make his way back into Zelda, which Azure in fact just did, and now we're gonna be getting our next checks coming in on Error's side. So Error looks like that Error is gonna be getting their Moon Pearl right now. Meanwhile, Azure very quickly making it up those stairs to be able to go check Spiral Cave and just a power bomb pack on Spectacle Rock. So not too much so far. And just some missiles on there. So it was nice to get this out of the way, but unfortunately it did not really pay off too much for Azure. So right now they have to do the split, or at least Error has to do the split decision right now, whether he wants to go to Zora or whether he wants to go to Witch. And it looks like they're already making their way to the Witch, so I'm just wasting my breath at this point. As they're picking up his Moon Pearl off right now off the bookshelf. Is the witch kind and give him Morphball, or is the witch dastardly and gives him Dark World access? And survey says Dark World access now on Error's side, picking up their Titan's Mint. So it looks like they can make their way to Dark Cack right now very easily. Meanwhile, Azure seems to be farming up a little bit of money to make the Zora play. So as they're taking the glove to the Zora progression, or hoping for progression, we get a little bit more info there. Now that he has the Moon Pearl, Azure can also sequence break the hold on, we're getting map check. Green Pendant, Thieves Town, and Red Pendant Pod. Good Crystal Turtle Rock and Good Crystal Mire. So it looks like that we have, after a generously long map check, we have some data as to where we need to go next. But as they're going to be taking this down to the Zora progression, so we'll be getting some more details down there, more pieces of the puzzle, and we'll see what's behind Waterfall Fairy, because he can do this neat little trick where, because he has that Moon Pearl, he can now fake flipper and then lose flick, and then afterwards get into water walking by popping in and out of there, allowing him to open the chests. Air having a tough time with those beetles in Skull Woods. And as they're setting up their fake flipper. Oh, and I am sorry if you had hook shot for your go mode item. It looks like that we ended up getting our hook shot sub 30 minutes. So, Error pulling their hook shot in Skullwood's chest. So that is one of two checks right now. And as we're preparing to get the Waterfall Fairy. And looks like just supers and a ham, so nothing too much right now from Waterfall, but Zora's the real prize right now. And Error pulling their second item out of Skull Woods. Alright, Zora Ledge, just some missiles. So nothing to sing home about. Alright, let's see what this Game Master has for us today. Just some power bombs. So nothing too much from there. And it looks like that Asder might be taking it back to Super Metroid a little bit. Alright, looks like we're gonna be getting some dark cack checks coming in on Error's side. Meanwhile, as they're getting ready to head down, make their way down to Green Bryn and to Pink Bryn, and unfortunately just really get the info that Plasma Beams there's nothing else. And what does Just have for us today? Just a little bit of love. Now, Thieves Town is sitting right here with the juicy early 4 checks. And if Error is also inclined, given that Thieves Town is generous, could always almost full clear since he does not have the hammer and cannot get through the hammer room, and walk out with most of the items and a green pendant. But more likely, just popping in, saying hi, and pulling out 4 checks and leaving. But pulling our first bottle, which is really nice because next time that Error makes it to CAC, we'll be able to get Sick Chid and second bottle. Yeah, you know what? Why not? Let's just stick both bottles. Let's just stick 2 bottles in here. We get a third? No, big key. This one has to be big key. Alright, looks like Air is setting up a death warp to leave Thieves Town right now. Probably the right call. And continue their Dark World exploration. Meanwhile, Azure just getting the sad news that Plasma Beam's the only thing that's really waiting for him over there, and that he needs to be looking elsewhere for his progression. And here we go with the gauntlet, with the early gauntlet check. As chat pointed out before, a gauntlet is out of logic, but Screw Attack makes it rather nice and generous. And wow, Error just opening all the right chests, walking out with Fire Rod now. So if he wants to, he can go back to Mothula and defeat Mothula. Although, never fun working on Mothula with a toy sword and without half magic or without a hammer. But you gotta, you gotta work with what you got. But in the end, there is in fact no item on Mothula regardless. And it looks like as they're just getting Heart Container at Gauntlet, so resetting out of that, and now gonna be making his way back into Zelda most likely. Man, this old man is putting Charizard to work today. Making him dig the whole field out just to get a book. Who bears a book? I don't know about you, chat, but I always get very unnerved when I have to do when the timer goes down beyond 5 seconds. I always get very unnerved with my dig game. All right, and it looks like Error starting Jeremiah on his very long journey around the world. So Jeremiah most likely will be meeting some friends. He'll be meeting a stump right over here that's going to give his friend some missiles. He'll be going into a chest where he meets a thief, and the thief gives him lots of checks. And as they're getting his Dark World access right now, 31 minutes in, and now we'll start working on his cleanup and his routing. So let's see where Azure takes this. And instantly dips right into King's Tomb. I like this play. Unfortunately, just getting some missiles. Meanwhile, on Error's side, going into Hype Cave, we get a Bloopy, we get a Blue Cane, we get some missiles, we get Spazer. And we get Morph Ball. All right, I was gonna say it looks like that there's no hype in this Hype Cave, but we got Morph Ball. I'll say there's a moderate amount of hype because we like to see Morph Ball. I think it could have done a little bit more, but I think a 6 out of 10. That's more on the conservative side, but I think a 6 out of 10 for Morph Ball. All right, and Error about to return his lost friend Jeremiah to his dwarf brother, and let us see what Jeremiah will give him today. Ooh, that -3 for Spazer is it's a very controversial topic. Spazer can be life or Spazer can be death, depending on who you ask. So Super Metroid is now wide open, as chat points out. Because now that we have the Morph Ball, we can retrieve most of our stuff. You know what? I'll actually say Spazer is in fact actually hurts the Hype Cave rank right now for the sheer fact that we know where Plasma is, and we're going to run into it very soon. So Error making a mad dash to Greenburn right now, and I think I would even check the back gauntlet right over here just to get that out of the way. And it looks like Error making their way up to the back gauntlet. Let's see what gauntlet is holding today. All right, just some money and some more power bombs, so nothing that we'll be seeing, as far as I'm aware. And as they're picking up his hook shot from Skull Woods right about now. And probably going to be starting the rest of his Dark World tour as Air starts ripping up in Super Metroid. And we're getting that bumper cave check. Just see there's just 20 rupees sitting up there, so nothing that we'll be getting today. Ooh, an unfortunate error, just messing up the mock ball right there in Green Bridge. So gonna have to try it once again. Morph Ball was the 5th chest in Hype Cave today. Sometimes getting this mock ball right through the transition can be just a little bit tricky. So it's all about timing, and if you can't get your timing down just right, I feel like that it'll just throw most people off for the most part. Let's see what we have in reserve today. We're getting our Master Sword. And just some bombs on Brinstar Reserve. So far, very nice to see Master Sword and walk out with Master Sword on here, because going around the Dark World with just a Toy Sword is never fun. Morph was in Hype Cave today. 5th chest. And let's see what the animals and the Edikun are hiding today. I think having Screw Attack early is such a good quality of life item to get. And it looks like we're getting our Shoot Everything Twice beam sitting right at the bottom of Edikun's. And as they're Death Warping right out of Thieves Town. You could say Hype Cave was hype today, but really it was just Morph Ball for the most part. I think the trolliest thing in Hype Cave was the fact that you pulled Spazer Beam, and we already know where Plasma is, so you can rate it however you wish. And an explosive coin sitting right at Animals, and Animals PB. So it'll be nice to get that out of the way, because it looks like that we have both Turtle Rock and Misery Mire as crystals today. So it'd be very nice to get the coins that we need, and ideally they just picked up one of them. So it looks like Azure hasn't, while we've been focusing on Harrier's side, it looks like Azure has in fact done their Village of Outcast loop, and checking Sick Kid, getting just some explosives off Sick Kid. And we'll be returning the Lost Dwarf Jeremiah today. And let us not forget our Spore Spawn check. Gotta precisely line this up, and great job. First try coming in from Arid. You have to line that up very precisely. You only have a few pixels wiggle room with that one. And shoot that super in, break the super block on the other side to be able to skip that very long boss Spore Spawn. To in fact get not their first, not their second, but their third bottle of the seed before even 40 minutes. It looks like we can get all the red, blue, and green goo in the world today. And as they're taking it one step further and retrieving the lunchbox. And meanwhile, Error working on their blue gate clip right there, and third try. Not very free without high jumps. I feel like that room right there is one of the first clips, one of the first tricks that you learn whenever you learn this game, but by no means is it free without high jumps, especially when you're working on low ammo count. Alrighty, as they're about to retrieve their morph ball right now in Hype Cave. And to realize that there's really not much more hype about it. Meanwhile, Error just continuing to rampage to Green Brinstar. Not too much more in progression since this has started though. Some nice checks. Some very nice checks, but not too much more dire progression. It looks like we're going to be getting our first look at Billy Mays just in about a minute or so here on Error's side. Meanwhile, Az are going to save him quick because he has to return that lunchbox to a very hungry fellow that's sitting outside the desert. And what does the purple box have for us today? Just a ham. Meanwhile, Gravity Suit sitting at the other end of Retro Brinstar. Very early and very nice find. So whoever had Gravity Hunt on their bingo card, unfortunately, it is not going to be Gravity Hunt today. And get our first Billy Mays check, but wait, there's more, and it's just a 5-arrow upgrade. As they're not taking it to SM just yet, trying to exhaust all of his A Link to the Past checks right here. So we'll be getting our first look at the Paradox Cave on Azur's screen. So let's see if this is where the progression is hiding. We get 7 checks. And first things first, we get high jump boosts. That's hype for me. I would have loved to see high jump boosts in Hype Cave. That would have made it way more hype. So we have now effectively have both sets of boots. We're just looking for speed booster now to have all the movement items aside from, you know, space jump, of course. Gravity is in fact progression. But it's not. I mean, I guess in the combination of gravity and ice beam, you can make it through. You can make it through Meridia. But it's not ideal. It'd be nicer if they had if with gravity there were, you know, high jump boots and or speed or space jump. But yes, gravity is progression technically. So let's see what Spiral Cave is holding today. And as we're just pulling some missiles in Spiral Cave. So with this, with these high jump boosts, Azure will have a little bit more movement than Error does when he does his path in Super Metroid. And Mirror is on Bomb Torizo. So now we'll be able to get some of those mirror checks in Logic and see what they hold as well. And unfortunately, they already started their tour with Jeremiah, because if not, you could have just done some mirror checks along the way. But it's early enough where it doesn't matter too terribly much. And chat making a good point right now. Hair is also open. And Hera is also a crystal, so they can start, or so Era can start making their way to Hera right now and see if there's anything anything of note there. Meanwhile, as they're doing Super Bunny Cave and pulling silvers, all you need is bow, and then it'll be very nice and easy. So it looks like that there probably will be no silverless Ganon today because Super Bunny Cave is probably something that both, if not all the runners are going to be running into today. And let's see what Hookshot Cave is keeping in store for us today. So far, it's just been a bust for the most part, unfortunately. And it looks like nothing too much in Super Bunny Cave. Meanwhile, it looks like Errors is going to get ready to cross the moat right now and decides to turn back. So I'm suspecting Azur is getting ready to take it towards Norfair right now that he has Morph Ball check. And maybe, just maybe, climb up to Crit here just the back way. And maybe even kill Kraid along the way, because Kraid is in fact a G4 boss that we have to take care of. And as they're picking up a flute right there at missiles above high jump, that is very nice to have. And CWJ is, I don't believe you can do CWJ without high jumps, or with high jumps. I mean, you have to do CWJ without high jumps. And for those of you who don't know, CWJ just stands for continuous wall jump, which you have a specific pixel you have to jump on, and then another pixel or frame, I should say, that you have to continuous wall jump on in the mode. So that is a way to break the logic in order to get across the moat if you do not have gravity. And no ice rod hunt today, so I'm sorry for those of you who were hoping for an ice hunt rod. It looks like that we have both ice and fire rod to complete Turtle Rock. Now we're just looking for Red Cane. So as they're picking up Flute and Norfair, very nice to be able to get, and very good movement for A Link to the Past. And as they're taking care of the Hell Runs right now, sitting on 2 E-tanks and maybe 1 or 2 trash tanks. Just to get rewarded with some power bombs, unfortunately. Meanwhile, Error is making it down Red Tower. We'll be crossing and seeing what is at Spazer today. And very nice Hell Runs coming from Azur. Not needing very much more than 200 health to take care of that. And let's see what's sitting at Spazer today. Just a ham. Nothing too much, unfortunately. So let's see. We have our mirror. We have some rods. We have gravity. We have a master sword right now. I'm thinking Hera might be a good way to go. Unfortunately, Azur did not have his mirror when he was doing all those Death Mountain checks, but we'll be picking it up as he clears through SM. And at a very nice E-tank at the last second to just refill Azur right there. Charge Beam was sitting in Ice Rod Cave today. And it looks like both Air and Azur are going to be meeting and dancing with Kraid today. At relatively the same time. And Azur to be the first of the 2 to take on their G4 boss. And beautiful quick kill setup with the missiles, with normal missiles on Azur's end, stopping Kraid from standing up and preventing that DLC boss. And let's see how Era does I'm hoping that we get no crate stand-ups today. I want both of our runners to have a very nice time. Just quickly take crate out to the prom, no fussing. And as I said that, Error said a very very backhanded compliment, and now crate is standing up, and we have our DLC boss. But Plasma Beam and Charge making that very, very quick. Meanwhile, Crate's Closet really not holding much. Just a little bit of love. And I know, unfortunately, commentators curse. I should have never said anything. I need to learn to keep my mouth shut, and I'll stay out of trouble and keep other people out of trouble, clearly. And as they're about to start his reverse loop right now, making his way up towards Pink Brinstar and Green Brinstar and up to Criteria. It looks like there was an, ironically enough, there was an error with Error's timer, and there was nothing started, so. Azure did not pick up his plasmas yet. He's on his way to pick up plasma right now. He, instead of going from Criteria down to Norfair, he went from Norfair up, and he's working his way up to Criteria. And wow, that was a very sleek missile gate, or a gate glitch coming in from Azur's side. Yep, that's no worries. There we go. As they're picking up his plasma now, while Error's picking up his flute. So now I believe we're going to be hitting practically episode 2 of the runners going over each other's tracks, with the possible exclusion that Error does have the merit to be able to go up to Tower of Hera right now and clear out Tower of Hera, being a crystal. Which it looks like that is the next step. And as they're having a bit easier of a time with that wave gate right now, being the fact that he does have high jump boots. And either tablet not really holding too much right now today, so let's see if Tower Hera's next progression. Ooh, unfortunately, as they're missing Mission Impossible right there, so we'll have to go the vanilla route. The second sword was in Brinstar Reserve. It was in that room. first item being checked or being picked up right now in Tower of Hera, and looks like just some missiles. So let's see what the second item holds for us. And does Moldorm hold the secret? Moldorm, in fact, holds the 4th bottle. If this was a race to get all 4 bottles, Error would have won right here and there. The side quest has, in fact, been complete. Gravity Suit was in Retro Brinstar. It was right past the E-Tank in the ceiling. Thank you. Below right Billy Mays. Or below Billy Mays. Thank you very much. Air just picking up their missiles, and looks like that the next play for them will be heading over towards right side Death Mountain. Meanwhile, as they're still doing some criteria clears right now. And picking up his mirror, so that'll be very nice for him, because now maybe he might have Hera on the mind as well. There are so many names for every spot in Super Metroid. There's 100 items and 100 different names. That is so much to remember. So I can't blame anyone in chat if they can't remember a certain spot, or if they can't think of the exact name. Alrighty, as they're making his way back into A Link to the Past right now, so let us see if he goes straight to Hera, or what the next objective is. I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna turn on that flute and then flute his way to 1. But there is also some Misery Mire checks that we can take care of as well. Now that we have flute, and since we have Titan's Mint. And I was very wrong. Looks like Azure is making their way and getting ready to start knocking away some mirror checks right now. Probably starting with Graveyard's Ledge. Are you, Mad King? Are you talking about the missiles above high jump? or wave missiles. And looks like that we are just getting some supers in Graveyard Ledge right now. So nothing too much right there, but let's see what the next step is. And we are getting that Misery Mire check. So we'll be able to see what medallion Misery Mire is, as well as get just a couple checks right over here. And Error about to get his information that Hookshot Cave just really isn't much today. And as they're picking up his Temper Sword, which is always a lovely pick to pick up early on, we have our Bacon Sword for the day. E-Tanks are always really nice to pick up in SMZ. You never know when you're going to come across them. So we get our first check into the desert right now. We have boots, so we are able, and we have a fire source, so we are able to full clear desert. However, today, desert is just a pendant, so not sure if our runners really want to full clear it, but definitely just get a few quick checks in it. And so far, Desert just pulling up with the Arrow of Destiny. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. Arrow of Destiny and a missile pack. So that forcing it to be the big key. Not sure what Azure is going in for right now, because I believe that the only other two items that are left over are the map and the compass. And thank you for the moment of silence for the salute. Now that we're able to hear the salute on Error's side. No, to answer chat, Desert is not the green pendant. I believe Thieves Town is the green pendant today. And it looks like Checkerboard Cave really just coming in with nothing, but he does have Bombo, so we technically can start to dip into Mire. Just can't complete it, but we're gonna get our Golden Chorizo checks first. Air pulling up with their Bacon Sword now. And Azure taking his dive at Golden Chorizo right now. So it looks like that the left check was just an E-Tank, but I did not catch the right check. And looks like just bombs, so Golden Chorizo not really pulling up with anything either. So it looks like Azure's going to give us our first look into Misery Mire. Meanwhile, looks like Error's going to head a slightly different direction right now. Looks like Error's going to clear Skull Woods. I like this place. Skull Woods is something that we have to take care of. I don't remember if Error I did. Oh no, never mind. Error did get the 2 checks into Skull Woods. However, this is still something you have to take care of. It's still something you have to do and get to open up the tower. So if anything, this just gives you a little bit more time to think about what direction you want to head to next, and if he's feeling extra spicy today, he can then, or after he beats Mothula, he then can mirror out and check the pedestal, which everybody always loves a pedestal seed. Yes, you did in fact hear the word ped. There has been no check yet. And let's see, what are our pendant dungeons today? We can speculate while we're waiting right now. It looks like our pendants are Desert Palace, Thieves Town, and Pod. So Bow can't be on there. Lamp can't not be on there. And that's really just about it. Oh, and Hammer can't be on Ped. So we can get Vari on Ped, depending on the itemization. We can have Speed Booster on Ped, assuming that, well, even though, but actually, technically don't need Speed Booster. We can have Kana Samaria on Ped. And Error getting their next crystal. In fact, their second crystal of the seed right now. Flippers can be on Ped as well. We do need Flippers to complete the game. So there are several items that can be on Ped. And it looks like we will be getting our Ped check, but forgetting that we need the mirror before we pull our book out to read. And let us see. We're getting the answer right now. Is Ped the dream? Big bada boom. I don't believe that Ped is the dream today. I'm sorry, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I was really hoping for a Ped seed as well. I was hoping for that juicy info to just let us know that we're gonna get a little bit extra today. But unfortunately, I believe it is just PBs on Ped. So far, meanwhile, we were all frothing at the mouth, hoping that Ped was going to be the play of the game. It looks like Azure found Space Jump somewhere along the lines of Misery Mire. So that is a really nice find to find around this time, or just find in general before you start making a lot of clears in Super Metroid, because that is just like Space Jump and having Screw Attack. Lower North Air will be an absolute cinch, and once he pulls Gravity out, then afterwards, Meridia will be very nice. And great wall jump and great moat cross coming in from Area. Shoutouts to Area for getting to get Spring Ball for a second there. So it looks like as we're going to be taking that space jump and checking criteria power bombs right over here. A check that we haven't seen quite yet. Meanwhile, Area on the left side is going to be clearing out Fantoon right now. And doing the wrecked ship play. And it looks like Azure hot on Area's heels right now, and also following his trails to do the wrecked ship play. All right, what are we thinking? We thinking slow? We thinking slow mid? We thinking slow fast? How are we feeling about Fantoon today? It looks like we're getting a slow right now on error side. How nice or how mean will this lovely elephant ghost be today? Ooh, if you were thinking slow fast, you would be correct. Unfortunately, the only person who said slow mid is incorrect. Yes, you would be correct about the Super Metroid tracker. Those are in fact the items, so you are understanding it correctly. And the ghost goes down on the left side. Meanwhile, the ghost is about to reappear on the right side shortly in about the next 30 seconds or so. So our runners will once again high five right now. And so far, just right side supers just having a heart container. Meanwhile, Azure is still dealing with the ghost on his end of the screen. And it looks like I believe it was a mid for Azure. So Fantu playing just a little bit nicer for him. Oh, but missing the super and having to go for a third cycle. But looks like it's a fast anyway, so Azure being forgiven for missing that super. Phantom being a humble ghost for him. And I like to play on error side. It looks like the error is going to save scum the wreck ship E-tank right over here. So always a big fan of that, because if nothing comes up very good, then just a quick reset and save yourself the hassle, save yourself the health, save yourself the time. And just 10 arrows, so rightfully done to just save scum that and just forget that it's even there. Azure, meanwhile, not doing the save scum, so he will have to think about those 10 arrows the entire way back. The question is, are we gonna have a speed locked item today, chat? That is always the concern about doing wreck ship and not having speed booster. For the runner's sakes, hopefully there's nothing speed boost locked. But if something like Kane or Various Suit is back there, then this is a guaranteed revisit. And it looks like just $50 after all the junk bots, so nothing to sing home about. So there's no reason to go back there or even work through the rest of them. So Era about to make the rest of the way to the attic and take a look as to what is speed locked. Meanwhile, as they're hot in his heels, just making it to the attic. And lucky for the runners, somebody just lost their wallet up there, so just a few $100, nothing to really go out of your way for. As they're showing everyone just exactly how nice having space jump and screw attack is anywhere that you can be. Meanwhile, Air having to do this the vanilla way, picking up his super missiles right there, or pseudo vanilla way, I'll say. Didn't do it quite the vanilla way. However, as they're going to be able to save a little bit of time, just be able to space jump the entire way there. So let's see what the rest of Friendship has for us today, because it looks like that so far, it wasn't really too much. It's really just been leaving our runners empty-handed. And we are getting our red tunic, so on Air's side, it looks like that we might be getting our shiny Charizard. But I also don't remember what color Charizard turned with the red one, so we'll see if it is truly shiny or if it's just white. Yeah, Azure really is saving a lot of time on Air right now. At first, having high jump boots over Air the first time going through Super Metroid, and now the second time looping through Super Metroid, Azure having space jump really is saving him quite a bit of time, and it's starting to add up room by room by room. Alrighty, Error taking it back into A Link to the Past, and wow, whoa, that looks like that Charizard's what would you call that, pink or purple? And as they're right behind him. We'll call it gravity suit color. Alright, so as they're about to do his Tower of Hair, meanwhile, it looks like that Error is going to take the first dip into Misery Mire. High jump, ice beam, gravity suit. Not a bad loadout to start with. Ideally, space jump would have been better for him if he'd taken a dip into Misery Mire. Did I say Misery Mire before instead of Meridia? I don't know what I said anymore. I talk way too much. And it looks like that Main Street missiles just an E-Tank, and it looks like Crab missiles just being a ham. So not too much so far. So speed lock, they don't have to worry about right now. And we have a hammer sitting on Mama Turtle right now. So that is a nice big missing piece of their puzzle. And either medallion. Alright, not the coin that they want or that they need, but it's something. I agree, it is a very aesthetic place for Hammer to be at right now. So Azure will have a much easier time working on this hammer right now. I think Air's only way of getting this hammer would be to spring ball jump it. Ooh, it looks like Air is making their way out right now. I'm gonna have to return back to get that hammer. It is a very tricky way to be able to get that. But it looks like Air might be thinking about what the next play is, and gonna continue progressing through Meridia. So Air has knowledge where the hammer is. Now Air is just looking for grapple, morph ball bomb, speed booster, or even space jump, which we all know that space jump is sitting right now in Misery Mire. But without Cane of Samaria, I don't know how likely it is for Air to take a dip in there, knowing that it'd be a double dip. And just some more casual hell runs coming in from Asder, which, if I recall, in the normal logic, hell runs are not required. So, I don't believe, with that knowledge, I do not believe we'll be seeing Barrier Suit in Bubble Mountain today. And so far, at reserve missiles, just X-ray. And nothing too much in the watering hole for Air. Ideally, he wants to find some way of getting that hammer. But no dice so far. Alright, and Air in East Meridia right now. I'm gonna take a save and check out what's in West Side and East Side Sandpits, most likely. Crystal Flash just to find an E-Tank at the end of the hallway. Unfortunate for Aster, but still much quicker than farming in general, so. And it looks like we're getting a snail clip coming in on Error's side. You gotta be a little careful with this, because you can soft lock yourself in there if you do not do it properly. However, still, if pulled off, it can be very, very nice and beautiful snail clip coming in. What are we rewarded with? Just some supers and a bloopy, unfortunately. Not what he was looking for, but at least has the knowledge that there's nothing back there for him. And just a missile at wave. And there's the Red Cane. Red Cane sitting at the left side sand pit. And Variasuit. So it looks like that we have quite a bit of progression coming in that way. That alone can lead Error to getting Space Jump, which will then put Hammer into Logic. Ideally, Error would find something else, but that is a lot of progression to find as is. So, with that said, chat, we have the knowledge of where Varia is. We know where Hammer is. We know where Space Jump is. what are we? And we know where Red Cane is. What are we really just looking for? I think with that knowledge, we are just looking for Quake, Flippers, and Bow. And Half Magic. This Meridia is loaded today. So Az, we're not going to be picking up any of his progression until he picks up his gravity suit, sitting at beta missiles. And picking up his ice rod at alpha PBs. But still looking for his suits. I think it's got to be the worst feeling getting stuck in the sand when you're in Maria, especially when you're suitless. Which our runner today has the suit, but still does not make the sand any easier. And I believe this is our first X-ray check. So Asdra will be letting us know what is in X-ray room. And just 10 arrows, so nothing really nothing that we need, nothing that he's happy to see. So we'll be bailing out of there, rightfully so, and off to the next adventure. Alrighty, and it looks like Azure is making his way to see Gravity Suit, which might steer him straight into the direction of Meridia. Meanwhile, I'm thinking that we might be getting the Misery Mire play from Error, but looks like just thinking just a little bit as to what the next step is. And Misery Mire is the call, so Error will be able to full clear Misery Mire in one shot, unlike Az. They're saving a little time that way. Pulling Space Jump and being able to then get their hammer. I too wonder why Error didn't just ice clip to defeat Dragon, being one of the G4 bosses to take care of, and then picking up the Red Cane Varia. Now there's going to be a double dip required to go to Meridia, so that is something that I will ask on the in the post game interviews, assuming that Error gives us an interview. Unfortunate for Error, there's nothing in Desert Palace, so this is just a little bit of time that Error is giving back to Aster. And as they're beelining it down Red Tower to, looks like I'm gonna assume, make it straight into Meridia. Interesting that Air opened up Meyer to then come back this way. Although I think Air might have just realized what they did. Oh no. We might be getting the Ice Palace play first, fellas. Ice Palace is in fact a crystal, so there could be something behind Ice Palace. Oh no, it looks like that we're just getting our flipper checks right now, so unless Hobo has something, again, just a little, or it looks like a little bit more time saved for, or time made up for Azure, as Azure did all these checks. Meanwhile, Azure picking up their hammer and their Ether Medallion, and beelining it through Meridia now. Yes, Chet brings up a good point. Does not have hammer yet, so Ice Palace is a little is unlikely because we know that you guarantee cannot beat Cold Stare. So thank you for correcting me and keeping me humble. Nothing in the watering hole Azure would like to get. Air being a much better person than I, because I would have 9 times out of 10 bonked on that rock. And Air just getting his overpriced power bombs right now. Looks like Az is going to be pulling off a snail clip as well. Having a little trouble on this one. Which snail clip is a very difficult thing to get done and get done right, so can't blame him. And Air taking to the Dark World right now. Heading back to Village of Outcast. Alright, beautiful second time on the snail clip from Azure after the room reset. Once again, always a scary thing to do because you can soft lock yourself right in there. And Azure about to get his knowledge on Varia and Red Cane. So let's see what he decides to do. Alright, we're getting that first reset out so we can take a look and find his half magic on left side of Sandpits. Meanwhile, Air doing some mirror checks that Azure took care of already. Once again, giving Azure a little bit of time back. Looks like Air having a little bit of a hard time right now to figuring out what his next move is going to be. Meanwhile, as they're spearheading it right through Meridia, beautiful ice clip, and we'll be taking on the friendly sea snake right now, Batoon. And we'll be getting our first K45 check. Just being a heart right now. But still something nice to have in general. So now we got 10 hearts and we are on red mail right now. So we have a lot of safety. And just a 50 pack on Batoon E-Tank. So nothing too special right here. Chat does bring up a good point. There is no lamp, there is no light source, so Meyer being one of the more confusing dark rooms, it'd be perfectly reasonable to not be comfortable with it. So maybe Error is in fact looking for their lamp right now. Something that I'll definitely ask at the end. Meanwhile, we're getting Batoon on the right side as Error is getting ready to do the magic bat check. Although Azure, not having X-ray, cannot microwave this shrimp right over here. Although Ice Plasma, not too shabby for having on Batoon or on Dragon. And down goes the shrimp already. Good quick fight from Asder. So we'll see what's hiding behind Dragon's door right over here, and we'll also have another G4 boss taken care of. And there is Grapple. So it looks like that space jump is locking Hammer right now. Still, Hammer can be springballed or speed boosted, assuming that we had speed booster. But it looks like Grapple was not one of the options. Error getting his lunch money right now, so probably not too happy with that. Not what he's looking for. And let's see if Asder picks up both half magic and obviously the Cane Barrier, which he has to pick up, or if he's just gonna pick up Cane Barrier. Is CWJ in logic for that? And I also didn't know that you can CWJ for the hammer. So that's news to me. And Error heading into Pendant Thief Town, which doesn't sound like the best idea. However, we also don't know where Flippers are yet, nor Quake Medallion. So this could be very important. Also, Bow. We're missing Bow, too. Shack Tool can be checked. I do not think that Shack Tool would have the lamp unless Meyer is required double dip. And Bow is not vanilla because both runners did take a dip into Eastern already. F to all of you magic lovers in the chat, because looks like that Azure bailed out in half magic, not wanting to do the sandpit loop again. I cannot blame him, because that takes a lot of time. Making it out of Meridia, and probably now going to be taking care of the friendly space pelican himself, known as Ridley. And no, Azure making his way into A Link to the Past once again. I mean, he does now have Canes Tomorrow, so he does have a little bit more progression. So Azure being able to handle Misery Mire and handle Turtle Rock, assuming that he is comfortable with both Dark Rooms. And judging by the right side Death Mountain play, I'm going to assume that he does want to go to Turtle Rock. However, not having Quake Medallion to open up Turtle Rock might be a bit of a problem. I don't know the logic well enough to say that that Kane is out of logic and Varia. I think they actually might be in logic because he had gravity, and he had gravity and high jumps, as well as ice. So I believe that they are in logic, but past that is out of logic. But I could be wrong about that. So if anyone else who's familiar with the logic can mention that in chat. Okay, so it looks like that there might be some confusion as to what it is and isn't in logic, but it looks like the error is having a bit of a tough time as to where he wants to go next. And really, he's really bottlenecking himself down into Mire as well. There's really not too much more that error can take care of currently. I mean, you can do the pod dip, but it's not really something that you want to do. You're probably gonna do the Saha check right now, and hopefully not do the pod dip simultaneously. Assuming pod that has nothing, that is. We don't know what pod is, so we just know where Space Jump is, and Space Jump will lead to Hammer. Which, unfortunately, Space Jump is kind of in a disgusting spot if you really think about it. And Sahasrara, unfortunately, just giving an E-Tank an error. Not too happy with that E-Tank, clearly. Giving a little bit of frustration explosions going on. So we're going to be getting our first Ice Palace check from Asder. Meanwhile, it looks like we'll be heading towards Dark World on Error side, but he does not have the Flipper, so he can't do Swamp, if that's what he was thinking. An Error. Make your way to Mire, please. You have everything that you want is in Mire. I completely understand why you don't want to go to Mire, but unfortunately, it's what's holding your probable progression. Meanwhile, beautiful iced tea room, or beautiful icebreaker. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Beautiful icebreaker coming in from Asder, followed by a lovely bonk. That new little icebreaker strat allows you to route Ice Palace in from behind now, saving quite a bit of time, assuming that you have Hammer. And I think this is our first Bombos check, so Bombos could very well be holding some form of progression. If Bombos is the lamp, that'll be ideal for Arrow, assuming that is what's holding back from the Mire play. And unfortunately, just $50. And it looks like that we are going possibly to Lower Norfair. I think Air is giving us our first look into Lower Norfair right now. Or, and chat, follow me here. How do we feel about the Croc play? Assuming that when he does clear Upper Norfair, nothing comes of it. Do we bet on Croc, or are we forsaking Croc today? How many of y'all are believers? That's what I want to know. Alright, so as we're getting ready to go into the Colster fight. So far from the looks of it, nothing really much in Ice Palace unless somebody saw something that I didn't. And Air having a little bit of trouble going for this Oh wow, okay. That is definitely another way to handle it. Little trouble going for the wall jump right there, but Air just clearing it up and doing a great job at it. Finding out different way to skin a cat, clearly. Meanwhile, in a blink of an eye, as they're clearing out Cold Stare very quickly. Not Butter Sword, but Bacon Sword doing a real good job making Cold Stare pretty quick at that rate. I don't think people are necessarily avoiding Lower Norfair right now, but I mean, technically, for Lower Norfair to be in logic, there should be Space Jump to be able to deal with Lava Dive, because this is normal mode or normal settings. So Space Jump, they should run into Space Jump first, which Azure did, and we as viewers know that Space Jump is sitting in Mire right now. However, what Error is really avoiding right now is doing Mire. So I'm thinking right now Error is on a lamp hunt to be able to do Mire and Turtle Rock, and just coming up dry, unfortunately. However, Error can break the logic and high jump Lava Dive. However, that all depends if Error feels comfortable doing a high jump Lava Dive for Lower Norfair. And as they're going to Lower Norfair through Mire, very smart of him. Very easy way of dealing with it. And Space Jump, Screw Attack, high jumps. These rooms with Space Pirates are almost a joke at that point, when you have safeties like that. Or I shouldn't call them safeties, but... And Mickey Mouse Room just having some missiles. Nothing too much there, unfortunately, for Azure. And unfortunately, Error getting news that Upper Norfair was in fact a bust. So now let's see where Error heads to next. Error might be comfortable doing the high jump Lava Dive and going that route, or Error might take it to Croc, or Error might take it back to A Link to the Past and go through Mire. But it looks like that Error might be thinking about going back this way, and yep, is going to go back to Upper Norfair to Business Center through Cathedral and Speed Booster. Speed Booster also being technically Space Jump locked right there. So very unfortunate for Error, because he's looking for any way to get that hammer that is sitting up at Mama Turtle right now. So now that speed booster is out of the picture, unless he finds bombs anytime soon, it honestly just might be hard locked. It might be hard space jump locked, according to logic. Space Jump was not vanilla. Space Jump is sitting in Misery Mire right now. And Azure being the first to enter the Space Pelican layer of doom, sitting with a comfortable amount of super missiles and ice plasma charge beam. So a player of Azure's caliber, definitely sitting at a very, very comfortable Ridley fight for someone like himself, who I believe has run low percent ice before. And getting the slow scream explosion from Ridley. Not too imperative in these modes, but it always feels bad. And Air looks like he is going to be betting it all on Croc. So we will be getting our first Croc check of this seed. Meanwhile, we are approaching the near 2-hour mark right now, and we have still yet to see a bow, and still yet to see Quake or Flippers on either runner's screens right now. So it's begging the question, who is hiding it? Where can it be right now? Misery Mire is now full clearable. Turtle Rock is unable to be cleared because Quake is missing. Swamp Palace is unable to be cleared because Quake is missing. So I'm almost wondering right now if maybe the runners think that they might need to pay a visit to Pod. Because Desert Palace was a bust. Eastern has a lot of items that are gone, or if not all the items that are gone right now. There are scattered overworld checks done by both of them currently. There's still plenty of checks in SM. So I'm almost wondering where the bow could be. So I think we're gonna end up hitting bow mode. I think that's gonna be where we're gonna be at, judging by the look of the seed currently. How do you feel about that, chat? What are you thinking? Where do you think some of these items are gonna pop up? Oh, did I miss the lamp on the left side? Was I talking too much again? Did I miss the lamp on the left side? Quake mode. Quake mode would be very interesting because that means if it's Quake mode, Turtle Rock could be just go moded, which it's everyone's dream usually. Just pick up 2 keys and pick up the big key, and you can skip Laser Bridge. Oh, okay. So, got a lot of safeties, no lamp. Understood. Now, I'm almost wondering if Error's going to full clear Mire, or if Error's going to see Space Jump and just immediately bail, pick up Hammer, and then go through the progression that way. And another beautiful gate coming in from Azure, getting all the really good jump setups. And Air sticking through it, picking up the Space Jump and continuing through Mire. And Croc, not being too hard of a boss once you have Charge and Plasma. Just going to be doing a dance and backpedaling as he is terrified of the bluish purplish ball that is sitting right in front of him. Alright, so we have our Canflies sitting on Croc right now. So if Error betted it all on Croc, technically could have IBJ'd their way up to Hammer, assuming that they were not comfortable with spring ball jumping. And 3 more checks going on Croc, and we have Quake, so I am sorry, but we are not in Quake mode today. It is more likely that our final item will be on Laser Bridge at this rate. So, those of you who betted on Croc most certainly would have made out like bandits this seed. Alright, just some supers right over here on this side. And let's see what's at Grapple along with Indiana Jones. That looks like just some missiles. Meanwhile, we're getting the vanilla Meyer big key and lamp at Indiana Jones. That is just absolutely evil, because if I'm correct, you need space jump or you need grapple beam to make it to Indiana Jones. Grapple beam being behind Dragoon, and that is wait, what's grapple beam behind Dragoon? I might be mixing up my seeds with their seeds, but I believe Grapple Beam was behind Dragoon to seed. Wow, that is 3 seeds in a row for me. That was behind Dragoon. So yeah, Grapple behind Dragoon, hard locking lamp with space jump. If I'm correct with the logic, meaning that Meyer in this seed was required double dip, technically speaking. Anyone can correct me if my logic is wrong, because it wouldn't be the first time, and it definitely won't be the last time. But on Error's side, we're going to be getting ready for some dark rooms right over here. So this is everything that he was preparing for. I don't blame Error for not wanting to head into these rooms without lamp, because this is a very tough dark room. At least for me, it's very tough. I don't know about you, chat, but I have a really hard time with Meyer dark room. Meyer, Pod, and Aga. Those are the 3 that are just absolutely agonizing for me. So I commend Error for doing this. Yeah, this seed was really locking everything behind space jump for the most part. Alrighty, Error making his way through the first room of Meyer Dark Room right now. Meanwhile, as they're giving us our first look into Turtle Rock. Now, this is where I suspect Go Mode is going to be achieved. So we're still looking for bow and flippers. So let us take a look as to what is in here today. Error having a bit of a tough time, but making it through. So doing a great job, to be honest. And as they're pulling big key on right side along with an E-Tank. and Error beautifully making it through the dark rooms. A little bit of hiccups, but ultimately making it to Viddy, the big bad goop of eyes himself, to be able to clear this dungeon and then forsake it forever until the next seed, that is. I believe 16 slashes, and down goes Viddy. Just to hold the map. But we get rewarded with a good crystal, if I remember correctly. So technically, the dream could be alive that Big Bomb holds either flippers or bow. That could be something that these runners have to think about. I'm sure now that Error has space jump, a lot is just weighed off of his mind right now. Probably gonna go with the LN clear and then make it up to Meridia to pull the hammer. Alright, we get our first look at the Mimic Cave right now on Azur's side. And today, Mimic Cave just giving us some explosives, so something to get off the mind, but not something that's really detrimental to the seed. I'm sure Error now is feeling great that they're able to get some aggression going on again. Meanwhile, as they're pulling up very quickly to Laser Bridge as soon as they make it through this dark room and that long hallway. And our last check at Laser Bridge is just the delicious, delectable butter sword. So, I may have missed it, but I don't think I saw any progression coming in. We're still looking for that bone, we're still looking for those flippers, but we now have a chance to zero cycle Trinex. So as they're making their way into the Trinex fight right now, meanwhile, Error is about to head down toward the angry Space Pelican. And just like that, a beautiful zero cycle coming in from Azur, thanks to the almighty Butter Sword. Although the main head did hit, so I don't know if that's still considered a zero cycle. It was almost a zero cycle. He almost had it. Error picking up their speed booster, and the final item on Trinex just being a little bit of love. So all those checks in Turtle Rock ended up being a bust. Not quite what we were looking for. So next up, it looks like I'm gonna assume Misery Mire if we're doing some dungeon diving. Hammer was sitting on Mama Turtle E-Tank today. So Era does know where that is, just routing it in after Lower Norfair due to a late space jump. And Era going into the Ridley fight with more than 30 super missiles, with a generous amount of super missiles. Therefore, we'll just be able to pound in super missiles repeatedly over and over to Ridley. Not too much to worry about sitting on, what, 8 E-Tanks, 9 E-Tanks right now? Meanwhile, as they're going in and finishing up what he started in Misery Mire. And just like that, 30 super missiles pelted into Ridley himself, as Era just waits there diligently to be picked up so Ridley can finish exploding. As there will save a little time on Error in these dark rooms from Misery Mire due to the fact that Error did not pick up his lamp at Croc. And with Butter Sword, 8 slashes, and down goes Viddy. As they're probably going to flute to 4, go to Dark World, and pick up his big bomb right now. Very well put. Eyeball, handball with the I believe it cannot be Butter Sword. Very well put. I don't think they checked Pyramid Ledge yet. I could be wrong, but I don't think Pyramid Ledge was quite checked. Catfish was definitely not checked. They have not done that route yet, so I'm gonna say it's safe to assume that Pyramid is unknown. And it looks like our tracker coming in, confirming that Pyramid is in fact unknown. So we'll be getting our Pyramid Ledge check along with our Big Bomb check. And there's a high chance that this is going to be some sort of progression. Alright, Pyramid Ledge just being an E-Tank. And let's see what Pyramid Fairy holds for us. Looks like we're getting our Mirror Shield and just a Trash Tank. Yes, no vanilla plasma checked today. No speedway or waterway checked yet. I think those are the two main ones in SM that they need to go back for. Yes, Asder picking up his Riot Shield and Pyramid Fairy. So now with Riot Shield and Butter Sword, not only is he fully decked out with that along with Red Mail, but I believe can create just a little bit of lag with Rapid Sword Swings. And Error getting ready to pick up their their hammer at Mamoru E-Tank. Nope, pot has not been checked yet. And hey, did somebody say fetch quest? Because now we have a shovel. And yes, you're right. Shack Tool and Shaft Supers as well. Or is Shaft Supers the same as Crumble Tower? Because I don't think Crumble Tower was checked. Oh, Crumble Tower was the other boomerang? Okay. So Dragon still left to be done on Error's side. So let's see what Error plans on doing next. Oh, getting smart, getting a refill, remembering that there's an E-Tank sitting there on Main Street. So getting the refill and probably working their way to Dragon, and let's see if they route in the Plasma Beam, because the Plasma Beam could be the progression, which would make a world of difference, saying that as they're already orphaned that check. And I don't believe Tower of Hera. I don't believe Tower of Hera basement was checked, but I also believe that Tower of Hera had both items pulled. So I don't think there's anything down there besides a compass or map. So it looks like nothing pulling through on the shovel check. And as they're getting ready to do their 5 million dig game, this very long dig game will allow Error to make up a little bit of time and catch up on Batuin. And Error pulling off a nice little nifty trick. Having Plasma Beam, Charge Beam, and having X-Ray allows you to charge up a full shot, shoot it, and certain enemies, being your friendly fish monsters, Batuin and Dragon, your ninja pirates or metal pirates, whatever you want to call them, in the grade room before Ridley, and as well as Fantoon, allow you to shoot the beam, and mash that X-Ray over and over and over again, constantly damaging and re-damaging and ignoring and slowing down the iframes or speeding up the iframes, whichever way is the correct way, allowing you to repeatedly hit the enemy over and over, allowing for a quick kill. So very nice that Error will have that for these two bosses, unlike Azure, allowing him to make up a little bit of time on that. And as they're doing hammer pegs, pulling his wave beam. Yes. I believe Error did both of those checks and nothing from them. Both of those checks being Bombos or either tablet. So now Azure has some more fetch quests that he's taking care of, one after another. I believe he's just going to get 50 bucks off with Magic Bat right over here, allowing Error to catch up a little bit. So right now, I think it's safe to say that Azure has the lead currently. However, once Error picks up that Bombos, depending on where Bo is or where Flippers are, Error might be able to catch up once he ends up getting Bombos at Croc. Or not Bombos, but Wave. Not Wave? Quake. That's the one. Quake. And beautiful microwave coming in on the shrimp on Error's side. Making it a rather considerably quicker kill than what Astor did. So as they're picking up all of his fetch quests right now, probably gonna hit the Ether tablet next. And maybe might route Spike Cave after that. Which Spike Cave is a check that we haven't seen quite yet, and it looks like that Error is gonna be giving us our Plasma Beam check too. I believe Error already checked what was on Watering Hole, so there's no need to go back down that way. So I believe we're just going to be getting a Plasma Beam check. And if we were lucky, if we were extra lucky, and myself and the viewers have been extra good, we might just see what Shaq Tool is holding for us today. Which, these are both orphan checks on Azur's side, so if they hold anything important, this could be huge for Error. And unfortunately, Plasma Beam just holding a bloopy. So nothing from there. And let's see if on his way out he decides to orphan Shaq Tool or if he decides to do Shaq Tool. Because right now, Error might be sweating it in his head, thinking he's very far behind. But if he pulls, so one or two things, there's one or two schools of thought. Either I'm very far behind, I have to orphan these checks, or in this case, maybe I'm very far behind and I have to check these because if this has something, it could make up all the time. And yeah, chat pointing out that Meridia was in fact loaded. So, no, what's another major item in here? What is another major item in Meridia? We had Varia, we had Cane, Red Cane that is. We had Grapple, we had Half Magic, and we had Hammer. Chat saying Bo. Did we just see Bo on Azur's side? Did he just pull Bo on left side of Pod? Or is it Bo locked? Just judging by him not going into... Yeah, okay. Just bombs on that side. I was doing that annoying thing again where I was talking, so I ended up just not looking because I can't multitask apparently. And Shaq Tool just giving us some love, so nothing in the orphan checks. Nothing in Shaq Tool, nothing in Plasma. Very unfortunate if you're rooting for Error and the humanity. He slew Shaq Tool himself, so Shaq Tool is no more and will never be seen in this run again. I don't know for how many people that was cathartic. I don't know for how many people that was heartbreaking. But as they're starting to sweat it and starting to do the pendant checks and pendant dungeons right now, because we're still looking for Bo, and thankfully Pod is Bo locked. Therefore, if you're looking for Bo, you're not going to find Bo on the right side. I believe there was an item in Thief's Chest Hammer. And yes, both runners did check the front of Eastern. Front of Eastern had 3 items in it, if I recall. Eastern gave them their It wasn't charge beam, but it was something important. Screw attack. Eastern gave him screw attack, but really nothing more. So as they're just continuing checks that Error has already done, and we'll find that Thieves Town is really holding nothing for him. Neither is Saha. I think first sword was actually Mini Moldorm Cave, if I recall. Yep, we're starting to hit all the checks right now. We're starting to rubber band. We're starting to hit all those orphan checks and all those checks that you really don't want to have to look for. So I'm thinking Waterway might be the play. I think Waterway might be holding something good. Judging by the location of speed, judging by the location of hammer, judging by the forced logical double dip and mire, I'm really thinking that this is a slow progression seed. So I'm thinking Waterway has to have something. Wreck Ship was a bust. If I recall, Wreck Ship had absolutely nothing that they really wanted in there. Maybe some quality of life stuff, but that was really it. And we are now starting to hit close to our 2.5-hour mark. Blind, of course, being very punny. And as they're about to show us what the meaning of a scripted fight really is, as Blind does the same thing every time if you walk in there with the maiden. We'll be scripted so long as that you strike them immediately, and we'll follow the same pattern. So, Blind having the compass, giving up the green pendant, and as they're probably going to go in and turn in for the 20 bucks while Error is completing his next crystal dungeon. And we might see the Skull Woods play from Azur's side, followed by the head check. So I think this is a smart play on Azur's, and he's just starting to clear dungeons that he knows that he has to get done with anyway. There's no more checks in Skull Woods. Both items have been found, one of them being the hook shot. So at this point, it's just clearing your crystal dungeons and trying to figure out where your next step is while doing some checks. This one being head, and unfortunately, we already got a pet check in on Error's side. It's just some PBs today. So the pet dream, unfortunately, is defeated. Zora has in fact been checked. Waterway has not been checked, and that's where I'm thinking where it is, and chat is also saying Shaft has not been checked. I believe Catfish was checked and was nothing. Chat can correct me on that one. Yep, Waterway and Shaft Supers. Yes, Catfish was Shovel, thank you. So it's got to be one of those two checks. Those have to hold progression, and more likely than not, it's going to hold the bow. Or actually, no. If it's got to hold. So it can hold bow if Eastern, because Eastern has nothing left in it, but that would put Pod in logic, and that would mean Pod has something for them. Or it would hold Flippers, and then Flippers would lock bow. So we are really down to the wire, so the progression has to go this way. Yes, Error did check, or no, Azure checked it. And it was just a heart container. So Azure going in, turning in the Ancient Family Heirloom just to receive an E-Tank. So not the item he's looking for. So let's see what the next step is that Azure is thinking about. Looks like that he's going to be fluting and heading to where? Alright, cold stare down on Error's side just to receive a heart, refill, get his crystal, and head to the next objective. So it looks like Azure is probably making his way to Waterway. I think Waterway would be the smarter play first, just because you can do Waterway, and then if Waterway turns up dry, no pun intended, you can then make your way down and go to Meridia and check Shack and check the other one. And if there's nothing, you can reset. And welcome Speed Gaming with a rating party of 44. So today we have an SMZ3 run. And now that you are here, I forgot to mention this before, but after this run, we will be getting our numbers after this. We will be receiving our SG live groups, and they'll be displayed after both runners have finished doing their run and also interviewed. So something that I forgot to mention, bad commentary on my end. But right now we are down to 2 checks really that we know of for progression. And it looks like Azure is heading to Waterway right now because we are looking for either flippers or bow. And we found the flippers. So it looks like Swamp Palace is going to be the play. But yes, we have 2 very prestigious runners right now doing their best, duking it out right now, trying to find the next logical progression, because progression has been very slow and very mean to our runners. Still waiting on go mode, still looking for bow right now. So now we are officially in bow mode. And welcome Speed Gaming 3 now. I am so sorry to those of you who have just listened to me once and now will have to listen to me twice, because chat is right, I do talk a lot. But just to fill you in on what we are watching right now, we are watching our SMZ3 race right here between Azure, Error, and 32 other contestants, I believe. Maybe 31 other contestants. And right now, Logic has been very mean to them, and we are in bow mode currently between spectators. And Azure looking like he's just done with Super Metroid, going to be clearing G4 right now while he's here. And he's going to take care of Mother Brain before he goes into Swamp Palace. So we just found our progression in Waterway. That was a 50-50 if it was going to be Waterway or if it was going to be Super Shaft or Shaft Supers. So Azure a little bit ahead of Area right now. And it looks like that he's going to be clearing Mother Brain before he progresses any further in Zelda to see where the bow is. Because now we are officially on bow mode in Azure's side. Area still looking for his Quake Medallion to enter Turtle Rock and looking for his slippers to enter Swamp Palace. So Azure really banking that Shaft Supers are holding nothing if he is completing Mother Brain right now. but Swamp much more likely to have Bow than Shaft Supers. And as they're doing the beautiful, delicate dance between the baby Metroid and skipping it entirely very well, not having to do the refill, not having to do the cutscene, not having to get drained entirely. So saving himself quite a bit of time in Torian and going to be making his way down to Mother Brain. Not quite the YOLO skip that everybody always hopes for, but still very dang impressive. And Error getting a little stumped right now, trying to figure out where his progression could be, as he is now bow locked in Pod, being that there is not a key in the first chest. So no reason to break progression because there is no bow in the right side of Pod, which is the biggest item they're looking for. And as we're going to be doing a very typical full or 100% Mother Brain 20 shot, as he is full beam combo. So Mother Brain going down very shortly. And Error looks like he is going to be betting on Croc, which he is betting correctly in this case. As Croc is holding our Quake Medallion and also holding our lamp. So just for those of you who weren't here before, Croc, in fact, is holding lamp, which Misery Mire was holding Space Jump. So you had to dip into Misery Mire with no cane and no lamp, to then go to Croc, logically speaking, to pick up your lamp, to then complete Misery Mire. And that lamp was hard space locked, and same with the hammer, because the hammer was sitting in Mama Turtle E-Tank. And there was absolutely nothing there. And I have not seen this on Error's side. That is something new and something rather silly to see. And Error about to pick up their bombs right now. Oh, Error. Don't do this. This is a family channel. Don't show Croc. No, Error. And I forgot to mention this, but beautiful, beautiful stand-up glitch on Azur's side. I believe saves about, with full beam combo, I think saves about maybe 14 seconds or so. I could be wrong about that, but I think that's around the ballpark that it saves. Either 14 or maybe even sub 10. But any time save is always a welcome time save. As now, Hyper Beam didn't quite get the one cycle with all those, but you know what? We got a quick Mother Brain kill and saved quite a bit of time anyway, so. And something fun to note, on Azur's side, if you complete Mother Brain first before you complete Link to the Past, you will get no timer, and in this room right over here, I believe you will get lava instead of acid rising when you head into the climb. And Error picking up his lamp, something that he was looking for prior, but I guess better late than never. Ooh, and unfortunately sparking straight into the wall. Or straight into the door. Accidentally opened up the doorway. So as they're making his way out of Criteria, going back to Link to the Past, we'll be clearing Swamp Palace next. Meanwhile, Error is working their way down the logical chain, and we'll probably be heading to Turtle Rock soon. So we will be getting our final knowledge on this because Azure is heading into the last dungeon to clear. We have all the items in Eastern. We have all the items in Desert. We know that Pod is bow locked. So Pod technically is in Logic. However, we are still technically we're hoping that our bow is in. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Pod is not in Logic. We're looking for a bow. Therefore, it has to be in Swamp Palace if it is not in that. If not in Shaft Supers. So, get your first G's in chat because Azure did in fact just finish Super Metroid and now is just working on A Link to the Past. Alright, Air about to get his knowledge that there's nothing in T-Rock for him, unfortunately. Probably hoping to get his bow or his flippers to have some easy progression chain right now. But will be availed to nothing, unfortunately, in Turtle Rock. And we are getting a very quick Argus fight right now, as we just have simply a Butter Sword to be able to just plow right through all the puffs coming on Azure's side. And it should just be two swings right over here, just like that. Down goes the one-eyed jellyfish. And he is holding just a map, so it looks like we will have to re-enter, check the big chest, and head into left side. Azure swimming for his life right now, hoping to find the bow right over here. There is in fact a 33% chance to go back to Shaft right now, and I'm certain that Azure really does not want to have to do that. Or less than a 33% chance because he has no, because 2 items. I think your math is right. Your math is right. I'm just gonna say your math is right because you're mathing. Yes, we are, in fact, still in bow mode right now. And as they're making his way around, and I'm surprised Azur's not doing the water, or not the water walking, but whatever it's called, the holy diver clip right over here. But I'm sure there's always a good reason for it, whether he's just not fully comfortable with it or. I'm being told that you can't dive her down if you did the back first. Therefore, makes perfect sense why you don't dive her down. Thank you. Things that I don't know because I don't do dive her down. And we're getting missiles right over here. I'm sure Azur might be sweating it. It's a 50-50 right here. Do we get bow? And we do not get bow. We, in fact, get the cape. And we know that the cape does not lead to anything. We know that it's not going to lead us to Bumper Ledge. So very unfortunate for Aster right over here. So it looks like that we're going to have to. I don't think cape opens up anything else. So we have to go to Super Shaft. As they're unfortunately going to be getting his knowledge that Hobo's not really holding much for him. Doing anything in his power not to go back to Super Metro, which I cannot blame him. Oh no, and as they're getting ready to take on Land Molish right now. I believe Azur did get both checks as well, and got both items in Desert Palace. So I think if I'm correct, I could be wrong about that, but I believe both of us checked in Desert Palace, so there should just be a compass or a map on Land Molish. Meanwhile, Error gaining a little bit of headway right now, or catching up a little bit and taking on Trinex. So we get some simultaneous boss fights going on right now, as we get Trinex and we get Land Molish at the same time. Beautiful Fire Rod quick kill. And yep, just a compass on there. Not exactly what he was looking for. Forgetting that he picked up both items in deserts. Unfortunate that he went right back in, but you know, such a long seed, completing 2 games, 200 and... how many checks is it? How many checks does Link to the Past have? I always forget. Azur did in fact check Ped and knows that Ped is not it. Thank you. 216 in Link to the Past. Therefore, 316 total. And we did not check Spike Cave. I completely forgot about that. It's something that I mentioned earlier and that I just completely brain farted unless Azure did it on his side. So Spike Cave might be the play right over here. Because I don't think Azure routed that in when he did Tower of Hair. I don't believe Azure ended up doing it. I think he... Oh, well, it just bombs anyway. But... yeah, I don't think Azure ended up doing it. But it looks like Azure is heading through Super Metroid anyway. And he is going to Shack Tool and Plasma. So unfortunately, it's going to end up dry on this one. Again, no pun intended. Meanwhile, we know that flippers are sitting in Waterway right now, Super Metroid, and it looks like that Error will be picking up his big bomb right now as he completed Turtle Rock, and checking Pyramid Fairy and getting his first look at Pyramid Ledge as well. Yes, they did in fact check Edikun, and I believe Edikun was holding a major item as well. Yes, they had our Edikun was Bombos on Animal PBs. Oh no, not again. We witnessed this horror once before. Asder, you didn't even see what was on Shack Tool. Why'd you do it? Oh no. Speed Gaming. Close your eyes. Don't look. It's about to happen again. The horror. He even looked behind to make sure it happened. Alrighty, our runner's having a bit of a tough time trying to figure out where the next breadcrumb is. Alrighty, Azure looking like he is going up toilet right now, getting ready to do the plasma check. Unfortunately, will not be rewarded with the bow that he is still looking for. However, on Error's side, he is catching up a little bit, starting to clear hammer pegs, and will be rewarded with his wave beam. Error diligently missing the pegs, but in fact hitting the undead Cucko. Gotta love it. So simultaneous resets happening. So I think Asder is now going to make the shaft play. I'm thinking Super Shaft is gonna be his next play. And Asder making his way down, so we will be seeing the Super Shaft right over here. And Error might be making the same play as well. But first, still hasn't cleared out Criteria Super, so makes sense to do this first. And there is the bow, ladies and gentlemen. 2 hours, 49 minutes, and 58 seconds, I believe. 58, 52. I am so bad at this. I did not fully look. I am so sorry, everyone. But we just went from bow mode to go mode. Just a hair before 2 hours and 50 minutes in. Azra will now be flying by. And will be doing his Armos Knife to then find the GT key. And yes, we both did win. We both did call bow mode. Error does still have to do waterway to get their flippers. However, it's a 50-50 between waterway and shaft, or at least it was when Asder was looking for it because he had last location. Error might be gambling on that same 50-50 but doing it the other way around, meaning he'll find his bow, but he knows that bow will not lead him to anything because he got all 3 checks in Eastern, therefore leading him to waterway right afterwards. So it'll be very different between Asder and Error, as Error made up a lot of time on that. Yes, the Ice Rod Go mode was in fact crushed within the sub-hour, and Error getting ready to pick up his bow right now, setting him into flipper mode. There is a chance that Error does clear pod before waterway. However, I think he might want to do waterway first just because pod is pod. But pod is a lot more checks. So I can't blame him for doing either decision, and it looks like he might be clearing pod first. This is a feels bad, man. Get your sadages in the chat, please. Meanwhile, as they're clearing out Eastern Palace, and we'll be shortly making it to GT. Alrighty, as they're collecting his 7th crystal right now, having to go to GT. So, with that said, everybody loves to play a little game right about now in the time that it takes to head from your last dungeon, heading all the way up to GT until you enter GT. So, get your numbers in chat between 1 and 22 because we're going to play the Ganon Tower Big Key guessing game and figure out what check the GT Big Key is on right now. Numbers open from as soon as he picked up that crystal in Eastern, and numbers will close as soon as he enters Ganon's Tower. So we do have some ample time here, ladies and gentlemen. My number personally is always 11. I'm never right. I've never been right as far as I'm aware, but I always choose 11. Eleven's just always been my lucky number and always been my fun number. And by lucky number, I mean it is the number that I never win on. Yes, Azur does have to turn his silvers on, but I'm sure he remembers that he does have silvers. And if not, he does have Buttersword, and it will take 8 quick swipes or 8 quick spins to defeat Ganon either way. Although we'd like to see the silvers. And we're opening the tower. Get those numbers in. Tell me what chest you think it is. 1 to 22. He's getting ready to walk up those stairs. This is your last chance, as we have a feels bad man for error right now. And the numbers are officially closed. So nothing in Hope Room. Let's see if those people who always vote Torch will be it. Oh, it's 12 spins. Okay, I've been corrected. Thank you very much. Yes, Speed Booster locked 2 required items. The Speed Booster was in fact Space Jump locked and at Power Bombs of Shame in Ridley's. So that is 7 checks right now that we have had. So we are still on the big key hunt right now, after 7 checks. Wave was hammer pegs. Yes, as they're coming in with very interesting routing right now, but probably feeling a little unhappy or a little behind after that bow find. So maybe trying to do a little bit different to try to mix up and try to make up for some of that time. But let's see what this key is. I believe that is check 9, and I think that is check 10. 2 in hope, 4 in Stalfos is 7, 1 on torch, so that is 10. So, if he had checked the other chest first, I would have been a winner for once. But I will never be a winner. But let's see. Was anybody lucky enough to win in this chat? And it looks like today nobody has earned bragging rights. I'm not seeing a single 10 in there. Yeah, Polar Bear. Wave was at Hammer Pegs today. It was in fact hiding hammerlocked in the dark world, in a very, very dark, cold spot, waiting for somebody to pick it up. And we were getting some beautiful GT climbs coming in on Azur's side, as Error is going to go and complete Eastern Palace. Get that out of the way, and then do his waterway check. Unless he has some other orphan checks that I can't think of at the top of my head. Ooh, just missing that last silver on Landmolus too, but Buttersword makes it nice and easy to clean up. Let's see. There's a sword in Brinstar Reserve. There was a sword at Mini Moldorm. I don't remember where sword 3 and 4 was. Butter was Laser Bridge? Oh, yes, Butter was Laser Bridge. I forgot Butter was right before Trinex to give you that possibility of a good zero cycle. People that are still looking for their bow and their flippers were due Laser Bridge, because they had almost last location Quake Medallion. Therefore, they then did Turtle Rock and full clear for the hope that they got bow and or flippers. All right, as they're getting towards the very end of this climb right over here, we'll make it to Moldorm 2. Should be a very, very quick fight. 2 slashes and a hook shot away. But the question is, will Azur validate himself? And Azur, in fact, did not validate the run. He did not open up validation chest, therefore the run is not valid. Meanwhile, Error working his way up to Waterway right now to pick up the missing flippers. And Error will have a go mode Swamp Palace. Yeah, this seed was very rude. This seed had a lot of a lot of very rude placements that I'm sure a lot of people, like including yourself, did not appreciate. So meanwhile, while I'm thinking of some stuff to ask Azure about before he finishes up Ganon, is there any questions that chat may have for Azure? Is there anything that is unanswered from that Azure might be able to clear up? I will make sure to write that question down and ask Azure. Don't worry, I got you, Polar Bear. Meanwhile, we're going to see a very, very quick pig fight on Azure's screen as he's got the butter sword, and we'll just be able to we'll just be able to cut through Ganon like hot butter, to be quite honest. Alright, Error making their way to Green Brinstar. We'll be picking up their flippers very shortly to hit go mode. Oh my god, Ganon, what are you doing? Just let it happen. Why are you going everywhere? This isn't the 2000s. We're not breakdancing right now. The meeting life is 42. And get your second G's in there in the chat so we can make a full GG for Azure, as he is now going to be walking through the door, completing both Super Metroid and A Link to the Past right now with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 2 minutes, and 46 seconds. And meanwhile, as Azure finishes at 3 hours and 2 minutes, it looks like that Error is now hitting their go mode 3 hours, 2 minutes later, still needing to complete Mother Brain and Swamp Palace along with Ganon's Tower. So we'll probably be seeing Error join us shortly as well in the chat in about 8 minutes or so. Maybe even, probably more. There's definitely more, come to think of it. So this seed was definitely not pleasant for the runners. Definitely a little rude there. And I'm sorry, because that makes a hat trick for me. That is now the third seed in a row that I've commentated that has been absolutely horrible for the runners, and I am very sorry to all 33 of you. Yeah, you had an incredible time. I saw the 239.58 come in, and the first thing I thought to myself was high execution and God route. All the execution. Metroid, please, just let him get this one. It's been a long day. Just let him have it. Alright, looks like we're getting some damage downs right now. Let's see if we also get a beautiful baby stick coming in from Error's side. Nope, looks like just a little bit of damage down. A little run forward, and probably just jump. Can't blame him. Baby skip is very hard to do, even with all the right items. So I don't know if we'll be getting Asler in the chat right now. I'm hoping we can get a bit of a chat with him, but we shall see. Meanwhile, we'll just continue watching Error just plow right through the Torian. All the missiles, because we have an infinite supply of them right now. And just like for Azure, a nice clean 20-shot fight for them. As they did, in fact, rescue Wavebeam in the dark cave known as Hammerpeg with a giant rock on it. So they're able to just sit there and have a great stand-up as well as a 20-shot fight. And with all the health in the world, who needs to jump? Jumping's overrated. We need to get rid of that anyway. Nope, no stand up for Error. That's right, because this goes on long enough that you can have your quick coffee break or even a quick pee break. Feels like forever, this cutscene. Especially when you're sitting at as many E-tanks as he's sitting at. and Air finish up their Mother Brain fight to then just escape the collapsing planet, followed by finishing up A Link to the Past, being able to go mode swamp and just go right through GT as soon as you find the big key, bail and go upstairs. So chat, while we finish this up, how are you all feeling tonight? Did you survive from the beginning, or do we have anyone that went from the very beginning that's still trucking through over here? Hey, you set the whole thing up. You were here honorarily for the whole entire time. And yeah, I think all of us that have been here from the beginning are probably a little tired right now. Today's run started at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern, that is. And what Miss Metroid said is absolutely correct. So listen to her, don't listen to me. Do you have any idea if Azure is going to come into the commentary booth at all or not? Because I am uncertain. I wouldn't blame him if he needed a 5 or 10 minute breather before. And yes, I forgot, we should get our G's in chat because Air just in fact completed the very first part of the SMZ run. Nice quick go mode swamp should always do the trick. I'm not gonna lie, if I were to do this seed today, it would have had me in shambles. For those of you who stuck through from the beginning, which one of you, chat, which item would you have last locationed? Because there are so many items that could have easily been last locationed, such as Quake or, you know, or Bow. Or Flippers. I think I would have ended up being in Quake mode. Or funny enough, I think I would have ended up being in Ice Rod mode, in Ice Rod Hunt, because I tend to skip alpha PBs for quite a while. What was your last item, Bunny? Where's Mirror again? I'm trying to remember. I know it was in Super Metroid, I believe, but I can't think of which Chozo statue was that. Bomb Teresa. Oh wow. That is one way to go mode your game. And beautiful, beautiful Argus fight. Nice silver arrow coming in on Error's side. Clearing up the jellyfish, and now just has to head to the pig tower. Silvers do go boop. Oh, the infamous dead rock. It's always a feel bad, man, whenever the dead rock gets right in your way right there. It makes sense. So wow, you got those 3 items in conjunction then, didn't you? I believe Asder and Arier both checked boots and then went up the climb and picked up their mirror. I don't think they I think that's what they got in Secession. If not, they picked up mirror shortly afterwards, but what ended up happening was Asder went eventually looped up from Norfair to Green Brinstar to Criteria. Oh, that's when he picked up his mirror later. But he ended up doing that loop early game and getting Gravity much later. And Error picked up Gravity really early because he did meme route, or he went through the other end of the meme route because he started his loop from Criteria to Green Brinstar to Brink Bryn, went meme, checked Billy Mays and all that, so he got his Gravity, and then went down to Norfair. So they got their mirrors at different times, and they were just dipping in and out repeatedly. Screw Attack is truly an evil item to get before Morph Ball and get early because it makes you think that there's just so many other things that you can get, but they're just so far away from each other, especially when you add speed into the mix. Alright, and let's see if Error goes full left side. We all know as spectators and runners that the right side is where the big key is being held right now, but it looks like that Error will be continuing left side for now. So we will get our first look into random room, see if random room's holding anything fun, but it looks like that we practically have almost every single major. Almost. So let's see if GT can further continue our aid into the 100% collection. Nope, looks like we just got a couple hams, the compass, and the map. It looks like the red armor is giving a little bit of trouble right now on the ice source. Ice physics is never fun to add to that, especially when you get hit once, it just kind of chain smacks you, unfortunately. And getting quite the amount of love from Ganon's Tower. Another heart container followed by a piece of heart completing a heart container followed by a heart container. Heading full right now, going to be rewarded with his big key coming up shortly in the next room. And there we go, Arrow receiving his big key and saying, to the heck with it, let's get the last one anyway. Now with 2 small keys, we'll be climbing up GT. Era, I'm sure, happy to find that key and be ready to be done with this seed. And making the right play, not just blindly dashing and falling off by getting hit by the cannonballs. Something that I may have impatiently done a million times over. Taka, that was another beautiful seed, another beautiful SMZ3 seed that you got to experience. This time, Morphball was not in Crumble Shaft, at least. Taka, what was your go mode item for this seed? Okay, that is what Error has experienced as well. Error ended up go moding flippers, found Bow before, bailed on Crumble Shaft, and went to full clear pod. And for Azure was in fact in Bow mode. And it looks like Error struggling a little bit on Land Molars too right now. That laser just trolling him just ever so slightly. You add a mirror in front of that bow and those flippers, and you got exactly what she found altogether. I think Error showing a little bit of frustration right over here. Just letting it all out. Oh, nope, never mind. His controller actually malfunctioned. That would have been very, very sad if that had happened and he had taken a death. That is a little bit of god routing right there from Bunny's game. Yeah, that was very, very unfortunate for Error. I'm sure that is not helping right now. Well, thankfully it got fixed before the death happened. Mirror was at Bomb Teresa. Yeah, Bomb Teresa was just hiding its reflection, so. Error about to step in the ring with his last opponent right over here. Almighty Trolled One. And he, unlike Azure, validated his run today. Picking up a ham for all the troubles. And down goes the wizard, so that next we can flute our way to the pig. And conveniently for him, he does have the butter sword, so he will in fact lather this pig in butter to defeat him and roast him eventually at the very end. A very quick fight. Although he is about to endure all of his warps right now. Which is just such an appropriate way to end the seed like this. He was not as much as a Warped Boy as he was for Azure, unless Azure missed one and I missed it. Alright, getting torch glitch, always very nice. Yes, after Error finishes, and if Error would like a, or if he would like an interview, after the interview, then the SGL groups will be posted, will be shown. Oh, warps aren't normalized. Okay, I did not know that. Therefore, he was a much more warped boy for Azure. However, there's no point in that because Error finally finishing. And get your GGs in chat for Error with an official SRL time of 3 hours, 31 minutes, and 46 seconds. So everyone that did this seed and that completed the seed, what a trooper. I'm going to say that right now. What an absolute trooper. I really did thought that you were running into the pit with a little bit of frustration. I will not lie. All right, if you'd like to come in and chat, have a Why, hello there. Congratulations on completing this monstrosity of a seed. You are an absolute trooper for that. And
so I have many comments. Well, the first one I put it in the chat, but my wireless controller malfunctioned in GT, in which I was running into the pit over and over and over, and I'm lucky I figured out that I could unplug the Bluetooth and plug it back in and regain control before I died.
Yes, that did in fact happen.
I would have probably forfeited if I had died there.
I would have felt so bad because at first I thought it was out of frustration, and then I heard the little bootadoop from the controller unplugging, and it all clicked to us saying, "Oh wait, no, your controller malfunctioned." That would have been horrible if you died right then and there.
So, going into Meridia, and then checking Mama Turtle and finding the hammer, and then it's like, well, I can't reach the hammer. And then I grab jump up and find Varia and Kana Samaria, and I'm all happy. And then it dawns on me, it's like, wait, I'm super out of logic with that. So it's like, do I continue going down the I'm out of logic rabbit hole and potentially get burned by something, that I don't go back to for a long time? Or do I try and get myself back in logic pretty quickly and also likely get whatever I need to get my hammer in logic? As I go back to Link to the Past, I remember I have Spring Ball and am immediately unhappy that I could have just Spring Ball jumped up and probably gotten the hammer. I'm not good at Spring Ball jump, but I could have probably got the hammer then. And so then I'm just all sea of confusion as to what I should go do at that point. And it wasn't good. Eventually found space jump in Mire, and the logic was so convoluted there because the game was expecting you to go into Mire without Cane of Samaria to get Space Jump in order to have the ability to get to the Cane of Samaria and the Hammer and the Varia because of Space Jump, and but still, based on the finishing times, there are two people who, two types of people. Those that scouted criteria shaft supers and those who didn't.
Yep. that was a doozy. That was an absolute doozy. Criteria had a lot, Meridia had a lot.
And so, after all of these finishers were coming in, it's like, all right, there has to be something at shaft supers because no one would have finished this quickly on this kind of seed without it. And so I went and found the bow, and it's like, all right, flippers have to be in pod now.
We saw the bow, and yeah.
And it said flippers immediately had to be in pod. So I went to pod and didn't find flippers, and I'm like, oh, now they have to be at one of the other two Super Metroid checks I hadn't done, which was X-Ray and Waterway. So, I haven't felt so bad routing a seed ever. Not that I'm particularly good at either game anyway, but this was painful.
It was very... Go on, sorry.
So, it just feels bad because, it's like my kind of goalpost for some of these is to be in go mode when the first player finishes. At the very least. If I've done that, I feel like I've run a pretty good race. That was not the case here. But I'll chalk that up to experience, and I know that at least a lot of people suffered with me, and I hope you were all entertained.
A lot of people suffered with you. A whole 33 suffered with you on this one. Except Polar Bear Bunny. Polar Bear Bunny absolutely enjoyed herself, from what I've been hearing.
I'm sure.
But it's unfortunate because it sounds like that once you made that one mistake with the spring ball jump and kind of realized it, it almost feels like that things just kind of came crumbling down afterwards, because you were doing so well, and I fully believe that you were quite a bit you were quite a bit ahead of Asder at first, because you routed things so much more efficiently. You were god routing for like the first 40 minutes of this, and then once it came to that, it seems like that it kind of like crumbled a little bit, which is very unfortunate to see, because you did have the spring ball there, and then afterwards you seemed like you wanted to go into Mire, and then you seemed like you were so afraid to go to Mire. And the only reason that I could chop it up to was maybe it was the fact that you didn't have a lamp. I didn't know that Varia and Cane of Samaria were out of logic. I thought they were in logic with the item set that you had, but is that the reason why you were very holding off against Mire, aside from the fact that you don't want to have to double dip it?
So I thought about going into Mire after I got Cane, and I don't remember what I had equipment wise at the time, but I hadn't bought any potions yet. I was on Blue Mail, but I think I only had Master Sword at that point. And I was like, if I'm going to do Mire, I want to be better prepared for it. And so I decided to go check the other logical things, because I totally forgot that I could, check the front half of Mire in logic anyway. So, I mean, that would have worked out a lot better if I'd gone into Mire right then and found Space Jump, and then all of a sudden I'm all back in logic and everything's great. But if I'm being completely honest with myself, there's no way I would have gone the Waterway after checking Bow. After finding Bow, no matter what happens, and I would have last location those flippers almost all the time.
Yeah, that sound from the people that I've been talking to, the other runners that were there, that have been coming in the chat little by little, watching. That seems to be the common thing, last location, Bow or flippers. And honestly, those seem like two very easy things to last location with this seed in general. And those of you who are listening and not watching, just so you know, it looks like that the SMZ3 groups are up right now for the Speed Gaming Live 2021. So we have groups A through K all up with everyone on there. So take a look, see what you're at, see who you have to go against, and either thank the Lord or cry a little bit, one or the other. But back to what we were talking about. Yeah, so I understand why you were a little hesitant on going into Meyer, and like I said, unfortunately, it just seems like that you were doing so good until you that hammer, and then the second that hammer showed up, I felt like things kind of crumbled a little by little.
That was the start, yes. And admittedly, my Super Metroid is not good. I have not learned a lot of the trick. I haven't learned a lot of the speed tricks. Basically, what I've kind of learned is just kind of through osmosis.
You put up a heck of a fight, though. You did really well in general in both games, I gotta say.
And I had just forgotten about spring ball jump, even though it's been a while since I've actually ever had to do it. And so it's like I didn't go back because I would have almost had to reteach myself how to do it. I know it's not hard, but still, at that point, I had already committed myself to, all right, let's get our item back in logic and make sure that it's not. It was most likely going to be either speed booster, space jump, or gravity. Not gravity, grapple beam to get back in the logic. But it's like I want to make absolutely sure that it's not something silly like flippers that I would have lost for a long time. So I wanted to get back into logic, and that cost me pretty badly.
Yeah, and unfortunately for you in this case, space jump hard lock speed booster, because speed boosters before it was a pipe PB's a shame. Space jump locked grapple because it was Dragoon, which actually I don't think it technically locked it because he did have ice. So you had ice and gravity, so I think you could have done Dragoon regardless. But space jump locked a lot of your movement items that would have put you back into logic in that sense. But I'm also a little surprised that you didn't go, and after seeing Meridia, or after seeing the sand pits, that you didn't ice clip your way to Dragoon. Was that also just because of unfamiliarity, or did you have something else on mind?
That was more, it's like I realized that I was way out of logic in that, because it's like, oh wait, I just grav jumped, and that's not logical. And I just wanted to get kind of back into logic, and it's like I also found I did have charge beam and plasma by then, so I could have done it. I certainly could have done it. It's just that I decided to not go back through at that time because I had so many other things to check, and I felt like I could do Dragon at any time.
That's fair, and it is a fair play to want to try to get back into logic. It does make sense, because the other end of the coin, if you get too far out of logic, you might not remember where, like, what can go where. Things can get a little confusing or like messy. So I can understand the need or the feeling of wanting to go back into logic. Either way, I think you did pretty well. I mean, there's only so much you could do with a seed like this, truth be told.
It was a mess, but preparation for this tournament.
Exactly. How do you feel about your bracket right now? I think you're in what, group G? No.
I'm in group I. Basically, the thing that stands out to me is that Blandation knocked me out of brackets last year.
And he is right back with you again this year.
By 30 seconds. I lost the bracket race by 30 seconds against him.
So we're going to have a spicy rematch.
Not restreamed to Miss Metroid. That would have been a great race to restream, but no one saw it. Kappa.
Well, you know what? Let's see if we can get a restream on the spicy rematch, depending on how everything goes out. Obviously, I'm not taking care of any of that, so that's up to the admins and all of them.
But anyway, it's just kind of my hope in this to make the brackets and then see where it goes from there.
Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Is there any race that you're going to be really excited to watch, from judging by these groups that you see in on all these really high competitors in them?
Oh, there's a bunch of good ones. It's like Solski and MM2 NES cartridge. Haven and Farflow. I'm mispronouncing names, I'm sure, but there's a bunch of like just great racers in this, and a bunch of great matchups even in groups. And I'm glad that 3 out of each group are making it. So it's like if you have a bad seed like the one we just had, you're not completely doomed.
I agree. That top 2 would be brutal, but it would be very intense at the same time. Personally, I think one of the ones that I'm looking forward to most is probably going to be Polar Bear Bunny and Apathy Duck. If they assume that this is round robins or something like that, because those are just 2 runners that like I watched in the very beginning when I started learning how to play the game. So totally excited to see that one.
I didn't even see that matchup. It's like, yeah.
If everyone plays everyone once, I'm gonna be hoping that that one is restreamed then personally. But do you have any closing remarks?
Get me out of here. I want to go to bed. I've had enough.
I feel like we're all in that same boat right now. I think that it was a very entertaining match to watch. It was it's very stressful at certain points for the both of you, and especially going down trying to find who's gonna find what first. Because up until like the 2.5 hour mark, we were still looking for 3 items, being Quake, Bow, and Flippers. And I'm just hoping, I'm just praying for you that your next seed will be a Jet seed, or just be a seed that you like.
Well, I don't know. It seemed like a jet seat, considering 3 people finished in the 240s. Clearly, it was a jet seat. But
Yeah.
thank you for commentating. Thank you, restreamers, and thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining in the booth and having a chat with me. Unfortunately, Azzer did not, so I was not able to ask Azzer a very important question for Polar Bear Bunny, but that can be held for another time. Thank you for putting up such a good, entertaining match and doing such a good job with the seed. I know, you may not feel that way, but I still think you did a real good job, regardless, with your play and with everything. And good luck in your tournaments. Thank you for everyone. For those of you that are still here, follow the runners, follow the trackers. By all means, just have fun. Have fun watching this. My brain's shot, so I can't even go through this routine right now. So I'm gonna bid you all adieu at this point, and good luck with the tournament. I'll be excited to watch all the groups play off, and hopefully commentate for more of those groups play off as well. Maybe have a co-com this time around. Fingers crossed.